And then I brought up.
If you want me to, I can.
I brought up the Return of the Living Dead
thing.
I think you can cut that. Yeah.
And I'll just read the.
I can cut that. That train is being picked up by all three microphones.
No, cut the bit right before we deviated on the Return of the Living Dead thing, and then I think it'll be good.
Yeah, or cut the last line. It doesn't matter.
I'll figure it out.
This is the point where future Jason is going to be listening to this on where to edit.
Let's note that the guy who said off mic, the guy in the biz, is pretty much saying fix it in post. Just fix it in post, Jason. Just, all this. You can fix it all in post, right?
You know what?
This is what's wrong with movies today, Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Stubs with Jason. Today I'm going to quickly cover a pair of threequels and then round out the rest of the episode with the honorable mentions from our first Stubbs Halloween movie night episode last week. I'm sure there's some people that would like me to spend a little more time talking about Terrifier 3 and Venom: The Last Dance, but honestly, I feel like you can summarize them exactly the same. There's fun there, although I'll say there's definitely more fun in Terrifier 3 than Venom. But I would only recommend these movies if you've really enjoyed the installments leading up to them. Venom seems like it's a movie that's been completely lost and reshaped in the editing bay, and Terrifier 3 feels like Terrifier 2, but with art in a Santa costume. Like I said, there's definitely fun here. I just don't think you need to go to a movie theater for either one of these. The fun you have in Terrifier probably bumps it up to a 5.2, and Venom is such a mess, and there's so many just weird decisions that they've made and clear things that you can clearly see where they had different directions planned out, but they're kind of bailing on them last second. So it just feels very unfulfilling and unsatisfying, and there just isn't much fun. It's literally Tom Hardy. Like, Tom Hardy is great in that role, and he's a lot of fun. Not that I even know what to really want out of a Venom movie. Like, I know Venom has had further comic development beyond just being a Peter Parker, a Spider-Man villain, but I feel like that's still what we all really want out of it. Anyways, Venom: The Last Dance, that probably sinks somewhere closer to like a 3.6. It is pretty rough. I can't really, again, unless you are all in and you're just like, nope, I gotta finish it, just finish that fight at home, okay? So no stubs for those. Like I said, I just wanted to keep this opening short. Got some other things that I'm watching. Hoping to catch a movie this week called Heretic. And that's all. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off to the honorable mentions conversation that I had from our Halloween movie night special. Hope you guys listen and enjoy and check them out if you haven't done so already. And that's it. Yeah. All right. So the last thing I want to get into here with you guys is I did ask that you showed up, I asked that you would show up with a few honorable mentions. I said 5, and unfortunately I just, even
did you
now.
Add on?
No, I didn't. I stuck with my 3.
I only have 3.
And I could have added more, but I just felt good about my 3. No, and that's all right. So here are my 3. They might have crossover and understandable.
I just realized I had more because I doubled up on one of them.
Holy my goodness.
Yikes.
This was his list of movies he was considering to be his contribution to this.
It might have been. No, it was. Yeah, like almost,
that
almost all of
that
them
was the list that you worked down from?
Almost all
my
of them.
goodness. Oh, I feel very blessed.
I took 5 minutes.
I'm good for that. I was going to say, I felt very blessed that it was just like, I'm going to do this one. Like well, you had just saw it on sale, and we just talked about One Cut of the Dead not that long ago.
Well, I feel like that was probably why you chose it. That was it not? Just the convenient time?
No, I think it was convenient time, because again,
you had it in mind before?
I had it in mind before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just was like, oh man, he only picked that because he bought it.
No, when I
recently.
cooked up this idea, because again, I do feel like it's a movie that people are going to enjoy. Anyways, here are my 3 honorable mentions. And again, totally expect that they could be just
What?
does.
What?
Right?
Sure, yeah.
No,
All right.
no. Are there honorable mentions because they're things that we ourselves would like and would recommend just in general, right?
Yeah, I'm recommending because again, like I also keep in mind, I don't know who all's really listening to this. I don't know what people have been exposed to or haven't been exposed to.
It's really big in the Mormon community.
There's a Russian person and a Canadian person and one other nation I saw
Awesome,
recently. So it was
nice.
like, which, by the way, to you people, hi. I don't know your
Hi.
language, but you're clearly listening to me. So
Yeah.
I assume you can understand that. Anyways, my 3 are John Carpenter, The Thing.
Of course.
I mean,
Wait,
it's just,
no, you brought this up earlier. Are we going to see if they're on each other's lists or not?
well, just if you want
We
to
can
say,
call it out.
if you want to say I had that one too, that's perfect. You know what I
I
mean?
have another John Carpenter movie, but it's not.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Actually-
Way to choose your basic bitch John Carpenter movie.
I tried not to.
All right.
yes.
Well, again, someone out there maybe hasn't seen The
Sure.
Thing.
Well,
and let me tell you,
like we talked
it's
about,
one of the best movies ever made.
It is quite
Yeah.
possibly the best horror movie ever.
Yeah. So just want to make sure that's out there. 30 Days of Night is another honorable mention that I
your
have.
That's
guilty
on my
pre-
list.
probably
Well,
pleasure.
to me, it's the greatest vampire movie.
I totally concur.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's good vampire
No
movies
argument.
out there.
Sorry. Shut his mic down.
Okay. Yeah, kill switch. All right. And then the last recommendation I have is a 2007 French movie called Inside. Did you
French
watch this
movie?
with me? Have you
You'll
heard of this?
You'll have
I have
to
not.
describe because I don't. It doesn't seem familiar.
It's about a lady who's pregnant,
Oh, I have seen this.
and they want to kill the baby
It is
inside of her. It is a
brutal.
brutal movie.
That is a hard watch.
That is a hard
I would
watch.
throw that out there.
So
do
Be
not
you all
careful.
should know. Yes.
Is it
it's-
like a reverse Rosemary's Baby thing, or
I don't think it's that vibe at all. No, you don't. It
I
doesn't.
don't remember totally, but it almost was just like a gore slasher from what I remember.
So is it?
Not a
Is there
slasher.
anything supernatural
It's
about
brutal.
it? Or
It's
is
No,
it
just
there's
literally-
nothing
brutal.
supernatural about it.
It's just brutal.
It's brutal.
So it's on the okay. It's just on par with like the Saw movies or something. That
It-
it's not
no,
really
well,
horror.
it's
It's
more
a different.
realistic.
It's delivered differently. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not over heightened. Where like Saw, everything is
Yeah.
like
Well,
crazy.
see, that's why, like,
you know.
I like one of the ones. This isn't on the list,
Wow.
but one of the ones I was going to recommend just so I could watch it was like Barbarian, because Barbarian apparently
I
is
did
supposed
not
to be
like that
so
movie.
brutal and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but I don't want to have to suffer through that just to talk about it. And like, so I don't know. That's just to me doesn't say horror. That's not
No.
horror to
No.
me.
But it's not just the horror part of this movie. Like,
Right.
it is in the sense of like that's just this person's motivation as to why they are trying to get to this
But
person.
it's
Yeah.
got that uncomfortable,
Oh, it's
like-
uncomfortable.
like bodily injury kind of uncomfortableness, right?
There's a little bit of that.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
no,
not-
there is part of
Oh,
that.
the
yeah.
way that you guys make
But
it sound like
No,
there's
no,
a lot of it.
It's there, but it's not the only part of the movie. Like, she gets.
Yeah.
Again, just watch it.
If this is the same movie I'm thinking
I'm
of,
sure it's a.
the only thing I remember is, oh my lord, this is brutal. Like
It is
this
brutal.
Is just,
It is a brutal
it's
movie.
almost hard to watch.
Yeah.
If it's the same movie
But
I'm
again,
remembering.
it's
So this is not something for like
This is
a
not.
lady to watch.
Don't
8 months
pull the
into
kid,
her
Guys,
pregnancy.
this is
Yeah.
not light viewing. Yeah,
Come
this
on, honey,
movie is
let's-
definitely heavy.
Let's cuddle
All right,
up.
And then I'll throw out my. I will say I said 3, but the fourth one we discussed it on the other day, which is, and it's it's all over the internet right now. Terrifier 1. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's
don't
worth a
understand.
watch.
I don't understand.
If you haven't heard, again, just like this Inside movie, though, it is not light viewing. Like, these are movies that are very R, and they're not light. I wouldn't recommend you watch them with your teenagers.
My daughter.
all the teenagers
My daughter
have
just
watched
asked
them.
me to watch them with her.
See, to me,
She saw the first one. She was like, "Can we watch 2 and 3?"
oh, she watched the first one, then you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go forward. You know,
Yeah, she
Hey,
watched
I
it.
almost asked you about when I went to C3. I almost reached out to
That
you.
would have been
about that.
tough. I would
Well,
have been lost.
Did you watch? You didn't watch
I
one with
haven't
her.
watched any yet. No.
The popularity finally got to her.
No, good for her.
She watches any kind
Hey,
of
tell
horror.
her I have too if she ever wants to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. And
this is the point where the YouTube video where the metrics spike a little because people just went straight for the popular things.
I don't know how the algorithm's going to work. If they waited this long
to
just
hear about Terrifier,
2 hours in,
just to get to a casual recommendation of that Terrifier movie,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Again, it is fun, and as it checks your box of in the first one, he's just a shark. All he knows is moving and killing.
I don't.
Those were your words.
No.
Michael Myers should be a shark.
No, that's true, but I have no interest in this at all anymore, just because of how it's blown up. It loses its kind of like credibility in a way.
Yet you love MCU movies.
You are aware The Thing is a popular movie, right?
I understand. No, but there
Defend your logic.
Was a point.
Defend.
Was a point where it wasn't. It was literally
I get
shamed for even existing because it was just a hashy remake of
So
like
you follow
a
the
classic
metrics
one
of all the
and
movies
stuff.
that you watch and then judge them accordingly.
No, I judge them based off of the quality of the merit that it's given, not
then
because
you have
of,
to watch it to make that assessment.
I will. It's begrudgingly.
Really quick, I just want to tell a really quick story, which is that I had never watched The Thing before, but I remember the first time seeing it.
Oh, I wish I could remember.
I
Wow.
do. I lived in this house, the house I live in now. There was a second part of this house. It was an apartment, and my Uncle Fred and his wife at the time lived there. And, there was separation, and all that stuff.
All the backstory.
One summer night, though, I think I was on house arrest. I couldn't do anything.
Nice.
I was home just miserable. It was 10:30 at night. We'd probably played some burned PS1 game. And when I came back over home to be all alone Jason,
Angsty
essentially.
teen.
Well, Adrian was, my one sister went with mom and they left. The other sister was out living life. And Dad worked nights. It was just me.
So
And
much
my
backstory.
uncle hooked me up with, watch this. So I took that VHS and I watched it in the living room and I didn't really crap my pants, but dude, that movie was intense.
What a great memory.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Fred's probably responsible for me
I would
watching it
imagine
too.
so.
Sure.
Yeah. Fred is definitely where I
sure.
can pinpoint this love back to, and obviously ever since I watched it, I've loved it.
I
Okay,
watched
sorry.
a lot of stuff with Andy though, so
Yeah.
there's a good chance that I may have watched.
And he
it,
loved
yeah.
himself some Kurt Russell.
I definitely
So-
watched Texas Chainsaw with him for the first time. That was
Original or the
no,
remake?
no, the original. Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, we definitely went to see the remake with him. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I would have been there for
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
We saw that one.
Yeah. All right, so I'm sorry that my honorable mentions got a little ranty and whatever, but there you go. All right, so who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
On my list with 30 Days a Night also.
Ooh.
Favorite vampire film. Loved it. I just watched it 2 nights ago.
Okay.
It was on and I was
Really?
like, yes.
Yeah, it's so
Well,
good.
I love it.
It's so good. Yeah.
You guys are gonna hate one of mine for sure.
No, that's
now.
enough. Who knows?
It is
Who
what it
knows?
is, man.
Yeah,
You like
yeah.
what you like. Return of the Living Dead, 1985, Dan O'Bannon.
Yep.
Fun. Man,
It's so great. It's
Yeah.
so great. I watch it.
don't watch it with the kids.
Yeah.
Lord, don't watch it with the
Well,
kids.
yeah. What's her name?
Linnea Quigley.
Quigley, yeah.
Scream Queen.
Scream Queen for sure. But like, yeah, I watch it even not during like Halloween season.
Oh,
It's just one of the best.
It's funny. It's gory.
It's got
Acting's terrible,
Yeah.
but you love
Yeah.
it.
the best
Sure.
interpretations of zombies. I think.
Oh, yes.
That's the one that always scared me as a kid
Yes.
because the brains thing and
Send more
because
paramedics.
yes, and the fact that they could talk.
Yeah.
is
That's the
so-
freakiest
So
part.
freaky.
Yeah.
And there's so many different variations of them. The torso that talks.
Great
She's got.
effects.
It's a great effect. She's got one of the best lines. It's like I can feel my bones.
That is
rot.
great. There's
It's-
lore in this movie. Yeah.
It is. And then the fact that you can't kill them.
Yeah.
There it is. There. Forget that. It's no like,
Yep.
hey, Walking Dead, people survive. You can just play the game and
Yep.
just survive. Nope. These things are coming for you and they don't stop.
You burn them, it creates acid rain.
Yep.
The acid rain
Acid-
comes down and
it
creates
makes
more
of 'em.
zombies.
It's a perpetual cycle
Yeah.
of terribleness.
It is a great lore builder. Like, I think a lot of these movies nowadays have kind of been based off of the lore that was created in this film.
Yes.
But anyway, I'll move on to my last one. All these are nostalgia based. All these picks are stuff that I catch myself watching regularly. The last one for me, I saw this in the theater in 1990, Exorcist 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
One of the best jump scares in history. in the theater, I lost my mind. It was amazing because
That's cool.
they set you up with this scene that's so slowly paced. You
Yeah.
almost get hypnotized.
Yeah.
And I think you
Yeah.
guys might remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're looking down this long hall. I don't want to ruin anything, but you get hypnotized by the pacing of this film. It's almost boring to the point. But then it's just shockable. I love it. It just the old people in the movie creep me out.
Yeah.
Well, there's I mean that. Which is the one that had the multiple cuts?
This had more than this had a director's cut. I don't know if that's the one you're referring
I don't
to, but
think so. Maybe it is.
this had a
Which one had
it
the
was called
beginning
Legion.
subtitle?
This was a Legion. There's a Legion cut.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Man, there's too many of them that have multiple cuts. But yeah, there's out of the genesis of them, 2 is always the pass.
Oh, Heretic is awful.
1 and 3. You didn't watch the newest one, did you?
No,
The
Okay.
Blumhouse
All
one?
right. Yeah, the
No.
I haven't watched
Blumhouse
it.
ones. Okay.
Not
all
a
right.
big-
I heard it was bad.
yeah, not a Blumhouse.
Like
guy.
I'll always watch the original, always watch 3, and then after that it just tapers off because some of those franchises just go off the rails.
Fun fact: it is Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite film.
That's a fun, interesting fact.
That's
I
a
guess.
conversation
That's-
killer.
Woo!
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my 3 picks. Unfortunately, we had the same. Or fortunately,
Well, no, I mean, again, I think when
It's
you get
such a good
multiple
movie, man.
endorsements
Oh,
of
I
it,
love
right?
it.
I mean, again, like,
And
Okay,
I
we're gonna-
could have also picked many John
oh,
Carpenter
there's so
films.
many. I mean, again, there's
and-
so much.
and,
yeah.
you know, stuff like that. But these are kind of like off the beaten path, I guess. But those are my 3. Trent?
Me and Brian's really quick. Brian and I's unpopular pick is obviously Rob Zombie's First Halloween.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
put it out there, and everyone will hate it, but that's okay because we love it.
I
So.
almost feel like there's nostalgia with that because we saw that with Andy, who's no longer with us, and we had a spooky story that happened after the movie that was so good.
What was that?
You remember the parking garage story?
No, I don't think
we'll
I
tell
was
that
there
another
for that.
time.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
fine,
But
that's fine.
so do we know how he felt about it?
Oh, he loved it.
Did
Yeah.
he really?
Loved it.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm not a fan.
That's okay. I will say the dialogue in the beginning is rough, but I know people who live like
It
that.
deliver. I mean, to me,
I
it's
know it is
properly
valid.
reflecting. Yeah,
It's sad
yeah.
to think that that's accurate, but
Yeah,
it is accurate.
yeah.
I
will
I
withhold
just watched
judgment.
this last night too. I got like 3/4 of the way through and just I got stuck. I was just
Yeah,
watching. I was
there
like,
you were.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Did you know that that girl played Lori? Did anything else?
Oh, I
She
don't
did
know.
the second film, which
Well,
was
I know,
this-
but-
probably
I mean-
a career killer.
Well, as I reflect back on any of the people that I think were in Zombies productions of anything, I don't think any
Well,
of
Danielle,
them really went to do anything.
the only popular actress in there, I think she was in Roseanne. She was in. She was Jamie from the Halloween 4 as a kid.
Oh my gosh, she
That's
got
her.
her back?
She's in that
Wow.
movie.
She's one
playing
of
a
Lori's
teenager.
friends. Yeah,
Wow.
And
playing
she's
a
probably
teenager.
mid-30s. Looks
Yeah.
good, but
Well, that's kind of
I mean-
weird considering the Blumhouse trilogy brought everyone back that was in any of those movies.
Yeah. And I can't remember if she had a cameo in those or not, but yeah, she was in that. Yeah.
Could
Sorry,
be. That's
he's
cool.
yesing and I'm fist pumping because
That's because it's
evil
the chant.
dies tonight.
Stupid
Evil
chant
dies
so
tonight.
bad going. I didn't mind. I missed
Before
I
he
missed the
does his
collective
Rogue
sigh.
One scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Myers Rogue One Darth Vader hallway sequence where he
just-
rises
oh,
at
yeah,
the
right.
end and slaughters
Right.
everyone.
It's almost like it should be in slow motion.
Right, you know what I mean? Like,
It's ridiculous.
The first one is bearable.
It's
I'm okay
fine.
with
The
it.
first
Those,
one's
those
fine.
other two
Okay.
go off
Oh.
the deep end, and it's,
that
Yeah.
Halloween Kills. That's the last one, right? Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't
Ends is the
Halloween
one-
Ends.
It's the pseudo, somewhat replacement killer.
It's one of
that's
the
in it.
worst movies I've ever watched.
It's bad. You know what
Yeah.
kills me about that is there's so much nostalgia for that first film that you could get me to try
Yeah.
any new movie, and it's sad, and I've been disappointed so many times, but just the nostalgia alone will draw me in every time just to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It
That's
sucks.
why we need the prequel/sequel of Spirit of the Witch, where we know the
8 more
final.
days of
People
Halloween.
love that movie
They
now. Like,
definitely
people
made a
have
resurgence.
turned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
Just call it Silver Shamrock.
Silver
It'll
Shamrock.
sell. It'll sell.
I bet it would sell.
So going to the point of nostalgia for Halloween and stuff, you know what is disappointing and what I thought was going to happen when they announced that as being like a dejected sequel that had nothing to do with any of the ones that came after it, that we would have finally got traction on some of those movies that were supposed to happen as sequels and never happened. Specifically, the real Alien 3 that was supposed to really happen.
Right.
And there was like, what was it? Neil Blomkamp that was supposed to have
the Alien
gotten
5.
into doing.
That's the
Yeah.
one that Aliens fans are
Where
really
it
upset
would have
about.
actually brought Ripley back, would have brought Newt back,
Yes,
would have done.
she was
you know,
on board.
All of the stuff
Michael
that we would have
Biehn.
wanted to see.
Yes, he was on board.
I figured that if people could accept a Halloween sequel that had nothing to do with any of the other ones, why not?
Yeah.
It
Godzilla did this multiple times.
Right.
Literally would just be like, all right, the first one's the only one.
Sure.
And those were some of the best movies because
Yeah.
it was just like, we're going to cut out all that stuff. We're going to get thin. We're going to get lean on our narrative that we build off of.
Right.
Because it frees you, right? Because once you get so much, it all just kind of collapses
Yeah.
on itself. Not that those
Well, not
movies
too
were
many of those-
going too crazy trying to adhere to
They're-
any of that
they
anyway,
went
right?
on like
So-
3 picture structures where they were
Sometimes.
only the sequels within 3 of them, and then it kind of restarted.
Yeah.
So-
Ridley Scott killed that Neil Blomkamp
Yep.
film as well.
He's the real
Well,
terror.
that's-
Yeah.
In
We'll talk
lieu
about
of
scary
Prometheus.
things.
That's a whole other discussion, but he
That's
killed
true.
that movie.
But it would have been neat with the
Oh, it would've
revival
been-
of
yeah.
Halloween. You'd think that they could do it with other stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so my list, I'm gonna do in reverse order because I think that it is gonna progressively get better going the other way. My counterpoint to your guys' 30 Days of Night, which I liked. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do like, is John Carpenter's Vampires.
That's a pass for me.
Really?
buddy. It's a
I think
pass.
it's a good vampire lore movie where knowing that it sticks to the rules, and it's a good idea. It's a good concept from having like that hive mentality that
Yeah.
they all work under. The fact that the girl is being it's bad acted. Like James
It's
Wood is
really
the
bad.
only fun thing in it. Which of the Baldwins is in it? I don't remember.
It's
which
got
Billy?
John
I
Bon
think-
Jovi in it, if I
Billy.
remember
It
right.
It does.
What?
Is
I
it
think-
Bon
I think
Jovi in
you're
that
right.
movie?
think
I have
you're
no
right.
idea.
Oh, it's got John Bon
oh
Jovi in that
my
movie. I'm pretty
gosh.
sure.
Right. I
That
think
was
it
the one
is.
of the thing. That was like one of the few things that like
Makes me hate
whatever
it more.
reason it just stuck in there.
But the other thing is that doesn't get done in a lot of movies other than like some crazy random, super like Van Helsing or something, is Vampire Hunters. Vampire Hunters is a cool concept, I think.
I get it. It's just not. Here's something I've noticed. I hate to go off on a tangent. Have you ever noticed, have you ever tried to pinpoint where Carpenter's career died?
Like really dies, goes to
I
Mars.
think I figured it out. Well, I think it's before that. His cinematographer's name is Dean Cundey, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was with him from Halloween all the way to They Live, which is where I consider where his career just died, where his movies
You
became...
don't like They Live? So do you think
So
They
I'll-
Live is still solid?
They Live is where he starts to lose it, but the movie still looks good. When Dean Cundey leaves, take a look at... I can't remember if it's the Christopher Reeve movie or if it's... I can't remember which film is after
There is
that.
something in early 90s that I can't peg
When
either.
Dean Cundey, he gets poached by Spielberg to be his cinematographer, I believe. His movies just lose all of their weight. Like, the shots are ugly, flat. Dialogue scenes are boring.
That's true.
I feel like the loss of Dean Cundey killed his career, and maybe by the time he got to that point, he was out anyway because he's had such a tumultuous career.
Right. He talks to anything interview wise or anybody that happens to catch a soundbite from him now, he does not care.
Oh, he just doesn't-
he's
yeah.
checked out. Like he's more of a gamer than
He
anything
plays
else
video
now.
games.
Talks a
and-
lot of
yeah.
video games,
and he plays in
man.
his band. What a life!
Oh,
What a
that's
life.
great.
He deserves
It's-
every bit of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody should ever force him or think that he needs to come back to do anything. He's given us so much. He's done. Let him be done.
Any thoughts on that one, Jay?
Yeah, aside from the Bon Jovi thing, it's the only thing you can remember.
It's not a good movie.
Again, I'm not saying that the quality of the movie is great. It's got
younger
cool
Jason
ideas.
who watched it as a teenager
Cool ideas.
was able to go, this is not a good movie.
Cool ideas.
I will say I haven't watched it since
I'm
that
gonna
time.
rattle off my other ones because these ones are all kind of like more schlocky.
Wait,
that
so yeah, I was
doesn't
gonna
have a
say
whole lot.
you said there was a reason. These are gonna get better or they're gonna get
No,
worse?
I think they're gonna get better.
Okay.
Okay.
So my second one is 1992, Dead Alive, another cult film from another prestigious director of
Peter
one of
Jackson.
his very first movies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I kick ass for the Lord.
it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's got great effects. It's goofy. It's
Yeah.
crazy goofy.
Yeah.
But for and I think he said in previous behind the scenes stuff that I'm sure we've seen where he really tried to channel like Evil Dead and stuff
Yeah.
because
Oh, he
there's
definitely
the
nailed
mother
it, yeah.
that's in
Oh,
it
yeah.
is
Yeah.
totally Evil Dead,
Yeah.
kind of like demon.
Doesn't have
lady.
the same vibe as Evil Dead, and I'm not even saying he was going for that vibe, but nailed the comedy vibe, man.
Oh
That-
yeah,
that's a fun
There's
movie.
like kung fu straight
Oh,
up in it
yeah.
and stuff, and that baby gets whacked around
Yeah,
and everything. It's just fun.
It is
the
fun.
lawnmower. Oh,
lawnmower.
it's so great. My other one, which you guys probably haven't really seen, but it's again campy, kind of in the vein of like Slither and stuff. It's called Terrorvision. It's from '86. It's
think
about
I've seen
like
that.
it's like these kids that have like. Did you ever see? It's not Mom and Dad Save the Universe. It kind of is like that. Or there's another one that's about like channel surfing and they get sucked into the TV. But these kids watch TV and this alien gets beamed down through the TV and they have to deal with it. It's like anti-ET because it looks
Okay.
like a big old slug monster and it's got tentacles and stuff. And
Yeah, I haven't
like
seen that one.
they end up blowing it up at the end. It's fun. I caught it like in the middle, like one of those Tubi kind of movies
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm all in.
All right.
Watched
Check it out.
all the
I'll
way
have to
from
check
the
it out.
end. Oh, it's bad. It's not
Sure,
great,
yeah.
but it's still solid. Next up from that, 88's The Blob.
Oh, that is good.
Great effects.
Really
This one,
good
I
effects.
really wanted to choose for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think it
I
probably
almost chose this too.
has, did you?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Not as
No one talks about this movie.
It's true.
Yeah.
Some of the practical stuff in it is amazing.
Beautiful.
Watching
Yeah.
it dissolve inside of it. Now, I couldn't tell you if there's the only person that's actually in it. Her name is Shawnee Smith.
Yeah.
She's the girl from the Saw movies.
Matt Dillon's younger brother is the lead.
Matt Dillon had a younger brother?
Yes, and he's obnoxious. And
Oh,
he's the
okay.
worst part of the movie for me. He's just so punchable. You see his face, you just want to just wring his neck.
That's like the guy from Twisters.
I would highly
That guy
recommend
deserves
that.
Glenn
to anybody
Powell.
else.
Yes, he does.
endless
Oh, yeah.
endless charisma, Glenn Powell.
Yes. Yeah, every time I see that guy. Ugh.
That is a good
He's going to be
watch.
the next Terrifier.
Good. I hope
No,
he,
he's not.
I hope he
I-
buys it. So, The
You
Blob.
totally made that up.
Really, really good. I
Nothing can
I
stop
don't
it.
Have, I don't have regrets. I would have liked to have all of us to watch it, but it's again. I don't think it's as
Sounds like we've
discussable.
got a Blob and Hidden 2 double feature night coming
it's a
soon.
fun movie that no one ever talks about with great effects. I agree.
As soon as I
Totally.
found it as being able to own for digital, that was one of the first ones I bought. The next one from that, mine are obviously more than 3. I had 7, I believe.
But that's okay.
Is 1990's Night of the Living Dead remake by Tom Savini. That
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh my gosh, Tony Todd. No?
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh man,
No.
it is okay. So Tom Savini, who did
Yeah,
all the
I
makeup
know.
effects
Right.
and stuff for
Yep.
the previous Dead movies,
Yep.
he got George Romero's blessing to remake it. I don't know how the heck they did it, but story is pretty much the same. It's a little more socially, has more of a
It's got
message,
more of a message. Right.
and Barbara is the final girl in it.
Okay.
So it is great. It is absolutely great. Same kind of premise. They get locked in the house again. They have to try and escape and stuff. It ends still pretty much the exact same way.
Okay.
But it is by far my top list best zombie movie.
It's hard to top the original. I'm not big on Romero's work after that movie,
Sure.
but the original of that film is amazing.
The original Dawn of the Dead, even Day to an extent, is still really solid. But Savini's is by far, because it got a little more modern.
Yeah.
They're not any more or less faster, or they don't go crazy with like Zack Snyder's remake or anything like
Right.
that. But it is that same level of fear and and caution that you'd have to have with those type of zombies and stuff, only dialed up a little bit more. Return of the Living Dead has them as like fast moving, credible threats. This is the same vein, only slower.
Okay.
It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. So next up from there is just, going, it's no surprise, but it had to be on there because I just want to talk about it a little bit. Evil Dead 2. I just watched it recently. It's still one of the best.
That's a good movie as long as you don't say 3. I'm not a fan of the third one.
Army of Darkness gets too campy. It's way too
much.
creepy or
They've
crazy.
Gone too
fun.
far away from the original concept.
It's totally fine because for me at least, because that's, have you ever watched Darkman?
I have, and it's been at least 20 years, but I remember that being okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, early Liam Neeson more than anything.
I think it's the first movie I've seen him in.
But I mean, for Raimi's, it's art action. I don't think it's not like a thriller or anything like that. But it reminds me, I think Army of Darkness only exists because he wanted to do Darkman.
Okay.
And he had to get on board with the studio in order for that to happen.
I remember Darkman being like half of the movie were Dutch angles. Like
there's a lot.
He wasn't quite there in the direction yet.
He really was one to
just
push
Dutch angles everywhere.
He got the ability to use a lot of cranes and stuff, and he was just like, "Let's go nuts."
It was nuts. It was almost drug fueled in my mind. It was a crazy movie.
But Evil Dead 2, it's to me, as cult classics, it's the perfect cult classic movie because it's got excessive gore, cool effects, it's schlocky. It is because cult is cult.
They lean a little more into the comedy in the second one, right?
Not as much,
but
I mean it's there.
Leading
more
towards
than
the third one,
more than the first one.
Well,
though.
the first one is a student film almost.
Well,
it's in the horror. I think from that one only is because they sell it.
But you've got Three Stooges bits in the second one, man. You got eye pokes. You've got the hand that's kind of
no. The hand like flips him off and he laughs at it and stuff. But it's still like, it's not in the sense. It's
I'm not saying it's bad.
It's outrageous.
I love
but it's
that
not
movie.
Campy for the sake of camp. I don't think. Or maybe I've got blinders on. I don't know.
It's been a while.
I
for
think
me.
they're all just fine. Like I
love
have
the first one.
Like I don't hate them. Like okay, yep, they're cool. Like I enjoyed them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's something there, but like I haven't watched them probably in 15, 20 years.
I almost feel like it's
I don't
generational.
feel like I
Maybe
have
it
any
is.
desire to go back and watch
really?
it though.
Wow.
The first one is legitimately creepy to me. Like I get a little weirded out on that movie. That's
Maybe
one of
I
those
should
ones
go back and give that one
possessions,
another
I
shot.
think work
when
better
she's
in that
under
one.
the floor and cackling. Like, ooh, I get the.
You know what? The other one that for some reason I didn't have on my list, but I wanted it. The Blob was going to be my first pick.
Yeah.
But if for whatever reason one of you guys wanted to do, it would have been the remake.
Fede, whatever.
That
his
was a
name
good
is.
remake.
See, I
Alvarez.
liked that one. Yeah. I thought that one was
It's
good.
09, I think.
That is a creepy
No, it's
movie
11.
as well.
It's
Is
later.
It 11? Okay.
Yeah,
a
it's
creepy
later
movie.
than that. I
But-
thought again, and it's intense. The end of that when she's all covered in blood out there, it's like earned. It's all earned,
yeah.
and then you do the post credit.
Well,
it's Bruce Campbell, and you're like, "What? Okay, what are we doing here,
That's
people?"
where that's
like,
just throwing it in for the.
I
campiness,
know,
but
I know.
So that is closer in vein to the original tone.
Yeah.
Then I think that then they kind of get a little bit more with the slapsticky stuff. But
Yeah,
that one I really kind of think I could have chosen, but then it would have did this conversation and you had to talk about all the other ones and stuff, and I would have rather have talked about something else.
Okay.
So this is my top one, which it was super close. This was what I was banking on of doing instead of Slither, but I felt like Slither was just more fun watch. It's more fun watch. It's 2005, The Descent.
Oh yeah, good film.
yeah, pretty
It
good.
is very scary. I think
It is.
Those things are creepy. The
just that.
the claustrophobia.
The claustrophobia.
I was gonna say
That is more
it's a great
terrifying
element of
than the monsters.
Yeah.
Well, the claustrophobia
Well, it just adds
packed on to those monsters.
They did a really. I agree.
All those girls' performances, great.
I
Great.
think you should have picked that one.
Just
Because I think more people are aware of Slither than they are of The Descent.
That's true, and then that's why
I
it's
bet
at the
box
top of this
office
pick.
says the otherwise.
Well, it may have done good. It got a
I
sequel.
know
Did
it
you
got
ever
I was
see
going to say
sequel?
The Descent got
I
a
don't
sequel.
think so.
The sequel is like a direct continuation of it because one of them survives at the end.
Regardless, do you hear anyone on YouTube talking about that movie? I don't.
It is definitely one of those ones that I've held close to the chest where I was like, oh man, if anyone was asking for something that was like really good and they've done the gambit, they ran through all the staples and stuff.
Good effects, too.
This is the one.
Yeah.
All those, I don't know if they just got like skinny people to do those
Right.
and the contortions and stuff that
Yeah.
those things are doing.
Creepy.
What are they? Are they just like they're blind? They're like a blind like cave dwelling people, I guess.
Good concept. Yeah.
I should really look into it more to see like the genesis of it and see
Right.
why and how and whose idea it was, but
That's a good pick.
The Descent made $57 million.
Wow. On what budget?
Estimated, it's in pounds, 3 million pounds.
Oh, was
35,
it-
holy
3.5
cow,
million.
was it
Nothing.
an international film?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
movie?
maybe
it was
it must-
Canadian.
Filming locations, it was Scotland, country of Oregon,
Origin.
country of Oregon. My liver says it's from the United Kingdom.
Oh wow! That's
I did not
I
know
didn't
that.
know it was a
Wow.
UK movie.
I wonder if it's an American cast flown over.
Release date
or they're just
Or
doing
British
really
actors doing
convincing
really-
accents.
2006.
One of them was Australian.
I can't
think.
remember.
I
So-
think.
It's been a while.
Maybe there's a little more to the mid 2000s in this genre
Maybe.
than we expected.
This one was
I'm not
before.
saying they're all great, right?
Sure.
But like,
Was it?
maybe there's a
was
little
it
more there
before
than we think.
No, yeah, it was before Slither. Slither was 06, so it was right before it. It's just such a great. I've got a great memory of it. I watched it at that Regal Cinema that used to be up on Bryce. That
Tussing.
doesn't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
I was just telling the kids the other day that there used to be
I went on
behind
like,
what
in the
was
middle
Ponderosa.
of the day on like a Wednesday. It was in between classes from going to school. I was like, I don't want to drive all the way home. I'm gonna go see something, and I wanted to see that. I saw it by myself, and I was like, this is amazing. I'm so disappointed no one's here to enjoy this with me.
I watched
was
it at
so
home.
Great.
I know that was where I watched it
I
at
did
some
too.
point in time.
Yeah.
So
My
I
sister.
I was getting ready to have a baby that year, so
Oh, wow.
I was not getting to do very
Sure.
much of any of that fun stuff
I
at that
would have
point
liked
in
to
time.
have thought that I would have recommended it.
You
I
probably-
remember
you probably
I bought it.
did.
I'm fairly certain I had owned it.
Yeah,
Whether or not I loaned it out to somebody and it doesn't exist anymore is a different story. But
My sister loves this movie too. She's big on this one.
one of the few all-female horror movies too.
Yeah.
So around this time, so oddly enough, I like, not that they're exact, but I seem to remember when I saw trailers for this movie, it was around, there was a Hills Have Eyes remake at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing trailers for this and going like, why would they do that so close? They seem
Right.
similar, but then obviously by its, and
Well, some
I
of-
think
some
that's
of
why,
them do pitch
and I
and they
think
are
that's
similar.
why I
There's one called The
probably
Ruins that came
waited.
out around the same time that's similar.
And then by the time I actually watched this, it was like, oh, that's not
They're
The Hills
completely
Have Eyes.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, Wrong
the time,
Turn
yeah.
was another
Well,
one at the, and all that stuff.
that was
and,
the
yeah.
the craze of either remakes, Last House on the Left, and a lot of the Wes Craven Carpenter stuff. Well, not Carpenter stuff. A lot of the Wes Craven, early Wes Craven
Yeah.
stuff got remade around that time. That's when we got the Texas Chainsaw remake, and
Yeah.
there was a lot.
Dracula 2000.
Oh my
Can't wait for
gosh, that
Dracula
was-
2024. I'm
Can't
really
wait
ready for
Dracula
it.
Forgot about that.
3000.
Ooh, I can't
Wow.
wait for Dracula
Yeah.
3000.
Transylvania 3000.
That one too.
All right, I think we've. I don't know, gents. I think it was a good time. You guys. I appreciated everybody's
I liked your
recommendations.
guys' picks. You guys shared
Thank
one,
you.
which is
I liked
fine.
yours.
Yeah.
The Blob. That's a good pick,
Dude,
man. I was very
it's
close to picking that.
I kind of really want to rewatch it again just in tomorrow.
I think I saw
would
that
be
about
worth it, I think.
3 months ago. I watched that again.
Oh, so
because
fairly
I couldn't find it, and I think it was on Tubi, and I was like, okay, I gotta watch this now because it could go away at any time, and I'll
true.
never see it again. Good watch, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't recognize anybody else who was probably in it, huh?
Other than Shawnee Smith, like you said, and Kevin Dillon, I think is his name.
That's a little surprising.
He's a dirtbag. He just looks like somebody you just want to.
The genesis of that movie.
Set up.
I mean, as far
Send
as
him to
remake,
jail.
when were they doing like The Thing? Maybe it propagated because The Thing was a remake from
I don't
like
know.
a third. From
It's
a
an odd
50s
choice.
movie.
Mid '80s.
Why
I think it
that
was
of
like
all
'85,
things?
something like that. And then to remake a movie that was probably from the '50s, mid '50s. I don't know. It worked though.
It did, but again, one of those ones that didn't get. I very rarely ever see it get.
Red
put on
Letter
lists and
talked
stuff.
about. They spoke about it. They did like a kind of a rehash of it, and they all liked it.
88.
88.
Box
okay.
office failure, grossed only $8.2 million from its budget of 10. Directed by Chuck Russell, which he did one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets and The Mask, surprisingly.
Whoa. Okay.
And then Eraser, starring one Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger, and then
I saw that
also a Downward Spiral, because then he did The Scorpion King.
Oof.
Masterpiece.
Ouch.
He started
That's how
out.
you
He
end a
started
career.
out good though.
That made a
Started
ton
out
of
good,
money
though.
though, right?
I mean, it was early
I
to
mean,
rock.
it probably did
I'm sure,
okay-ish. I
I'm
don't
sure it
know.
did okay. It wasn't no Mummy Return though. That's for darn sure. He did a couple of things. Actually, he had something brand new from this year. It's called Witchboard.
Never heard of that.
All right, gents, we're out.
It was fun for the second time around.
My butt hurts.
My butt hurts too.
I'm
One day, hey, people out there, I don't ask for money, so you can't help my chair situation. So just, I don't know, think or wish hard for it, and maybe something will happen.
His chairs are terrible.
Take
These
please.
chairs, I thought they were fine. Until,
Please.
in
Take
all
pity
fairness,
on
though,
his poor
it's-
butt.
It is clearing the 2-hour mark now.
Woo!
My
We're
bones are
under-
hitting metal. It
Under
hurts.
time.
Stubs. All done.